And that's a better conversation than the sort of assumption by, I think, people who are not pro-life, that pro-life is just about controlling the woman's body. No, it isn't, okay? It really is not. Like, for pro-lifers, it has literally nothing to do with the woman's body. It has to do with the independent interest of the life inside the woman and how you define that.
You know,
But once you define it, depending on your definition, it does control what a woman can and can't do with her body.
Well, there are downstream effects to definitions, of course, right? I mean, if I define life as it begins at a heartbeat, then that is going to have public policy ramifications that affect, I mean, just as in anything else. If I define theft in a particular way, that's going to have downstream effects on people who commit that definition of the crime. And if I broaden the definition, it's going to include more people. Right? That's true for literally any legal term. It's true for any word that we use in life. As you expand the definition, it affects more people in different ways. But that doesn't change the necessity to have the conversation about what the definition is. And I think it's an easy way out to basically say, well, you know, I have a definition of life, but, and it gets into very dicey territory, because historically people have defined away entire populations as not human. And so we can't do that.
One topic I haven't really been talking about lately is abortion. And, you know, Ben Shapiro gave me a good excuse to start going in my bag about abortion. And one thing I want to make this argument is that abortion was never about women's rights, right? Your rights begin where another person's begin. Your rights end where another person's begin. And the abortion debate has always been about ethics. And one of the things that in my personal life, will always stump these like pro-abortion people, because you're not pro-choice, you're pro-abortion, is that these people can't handle reality or facts. They can't argue, hey, when does life begin? You can't even answer the premise of when life begins. When should we allow you to kill your child? Essentially is the question I'm asking you. And you're saying that, hey, as long as I'm ignorant of the child's existence, I should be allowed to kill it. If you run over somebody with your car and you're ignorant of the fact that you did it, does that justify you getting away with murder? No. And this is the arguments that a lot of pro-abortion people don't want to have this conversation. And one of the things I famously said, and I think I'm not famous, but I heard this before from a black conservative woman before, and I just took it up as one of my things. Any argument you make to defend abortion, you can make a similar argument to defend slavery. Who's going to pick our cotton? Oh, who's going to take care of the child? What if the person can't take care of the child? What if the person can't do this? I don't agree with your, you killing your child just because you believe that you cannot take care of it, right? And abortion, the reality is a lot of these women, especially these liberal women who argue passionately for abortion at the end of the day is just a woman wants the right to essentially not be held accountable for her actions. A woman want a get out of jail free card of being a parent. They don't want any responsibility. And then when you put up the argument, this feminist argument, right? All the feminists who cry about equality, they want to have the same rights as men. Men do not have a right to dictate whether they become a father or not. That's a right that men don't have. And if you want to argue about equality, either you give the men the option not to be a parent, the same way women have the right to not be a parent, or you remove the right for a woman to choose whether she want to be a parent or not. At least when a father doesn't want to be involved in a child's life, the child gets to still live. When a mother decides she don't want to be a mother anymore, she abandons the child, she kills the child with abortion because it's too young or it's just a fetus. You discriminate against another human life because of its developmental stage. Fetus is just the first stage of human development, right? So why not make the argument about 2-year-olds? It can't take care of itself. If it can't sustain itself, it's not a life. A 2-year-old baby can't sustain itself. A 3-year-old baby can't sustain itself. Hell, even a 4-year-old baby can't sustain itself. So can we just broaden the definition and you're allowed to kill your 4-year-old when they become too inconvenient for you? And this is one of the inconvenient truths about it, is that abortion, the strongest arguments you can make for abortion, you have to give the idea that the baby is a woman's property. That's the only way you can make any logical, solid arguments for abortion. But if you're not going to go down that route, if you're going to try to make it a moral thing, this is why they'd always like to shift it's about controlling women. It's just a way to obfuscate or not acknowledge the root and the core reality of what abortion is, right? And here's a clip I want to highlight to you. And this is something I've been saying a long time, that majority of abortions are done electively.
First of all, when we're talking about rape and abortion, we should note that well over 99% of abortions are not undertaken because of rape. And so if you want to come with me and ban all abortions except for rape, I'll probably make that trade for you. Meaning if you want to ban all abortions, elective abortions, and what I have to do is give up abortion with regard to rape and incest, that is a trade on a pragmatic level politically that I would make.
Okay, so you're not dying on that hill. Like,
Well, it's not that I mean, I believe that, again, rape and incest, I think, is the reason people choose that argument is because it's the hardest argument to make emotionally from the pro-life side. But I think that we should note that the vast majority of abortions have nothing to do with rape or incest.
Abortion is just a way of extending women's rights to do something. It's an increase of more privileges for women. Women want the privilege to be voluntarily a mother. Like at any standpoint, she wanted to be able to excuse herself from being a mother. This is why there's this narrative, right? And this one thing I want to point out too is that when a man abandons his child, the state, police, everyone want to hold him accountable for abandoning his child, regardless if he felt ready for the child or not. But when a woman abandons her child, everyone is always expected to have sympathy for her. You guys realize that? Because at the end of the day, I'm a fundamentalist. If you want equality, I believe equal treatment. Okay, how are you going to treat a man in that situation? Because feminists, they always want to equate themselves to what men doing and how people react to men. Oh, men are more respected. Men are more this. Men are more that. Okay, men are also held more accountable for their negative choices that hurt society. Why we don't hold women in the same account? When women abandon their kids on an orphanage state, on the doorsteps of a hospital, no one goes looking for the mom that abandoned it. But let a father do that. Everyone's going to be looking for him. They're going to get child support on him. They're going to do all this stuff. And this is the kind of the arguments that abortion people fall on their face. It's because they try to argue, oh, this is affecting women's rights. And I'm going, okay, you're saying you don't want to be forced to deliver a child, but at the same breath, you want the law to force another individual who don't want to be a part of the child's life, right? We're talking about the deadbeat dads, right? They don't want to be a part of the child's life, but you still want to extract resources. You still want to violate their property rights, right? Their time and labor and their resources to take care of a child because you unilaterally made the decision to have the child, right? If you can unilaterally, right, without the consent of the father, you can abort the child. Why are you holding him responsible for a choice that you made? Make it make sense. It takes two to make the child, but it only takes one person to kill the child, and that's the mother. Make that make sense. How is that an unfair situation you put men at? And this is where abortion people, their arguments start crumbling because you start realizing it's not really about, it's just only something catering to women because this is some type of, from the left's perspective, this is their way of trying to over cater to women at the expense of everyone else, at the expense of the baby, at the expense of men. Like if you really believe that it's a woman's right to choose, you should also believe that it's a man's right to choose. A man should be able to respond, hey, do you want to be responsible for this child? Yes or no? No. Okay, you won't be held liable. You won't be held financially responsible for the child. If women are just allowed to unilaterally decide to kill the child, regardless if the father wants the abortion or not. If the father say, no, I don't want you to kill my son. I want to keep the kid. The woman can still decide to kill the kid and that's it. And I'm not going to give ground to anybody who's trying to say, Kenny, it's not a child, it's a fetus. No, it's a child. I seen both my kids, 3 weeks old, dancing, wiggling in the room, already have a heartbeat. Oh, that's machine noise. No, the machine is detecting something in the womb and it's reacting to it, right? So essentially, the source of the noise is still a heartbeat. It's just recreating that as a real sound for you, but it's detecting life. Your gender is decided at conception. We have to discover your gender. You don't become your gender. We have to discover your gender. So my argument has always been life is constant. Life is constant. And you die when you're not alive anymore. There's no such thing as a purgatory for life. And this is where I think, in my honest opinion, I make a strong case about abortion and about the consistency about it. Science back me up, right? Where your gender gets decided at conception. Okay. Do you ever stop being a adult human male? No. Right? All it is you always was that thing. You just got bigger. That's it. The only difference between you and a fetus is time. And then we ask you the question, when you want to dictate what time someone should be allowed to kill another individual. You don't like how they phrased that question, did you? You don't like the way I phrased it, but at the end of the day, you still have to give an answer. You have to be able to confront this. And your unwillingness to not confront this, and then you try to gaslight us and try to make it about something else, or you're just trying to control women. Yes, I believe a woman should not be allowed to kill another individual. Yes, a human woman should not be allowed to kill another human life. Yes, I agree. I agree. A woman should not be able to do that. Yes, I am controlling women. That a woman should not be allowed to murder another person. Now it's up to you to reject or refute my definition of life. You can't. because I'm basing it on an objective and consistent metric, which is what you need for a legal law. And this is where a lot of abortion people get tripped up at. Now, enough with my long-winded rant. Let's get into the video.
Populations as not human, and so we can't do that, right? Like you really don't want people looking at other people and saying, well, I don't think that this person. I mean, to take the obvious and most controversial example, for a huge percentage of American history, there was a wide variety of people in America who believed black people were not fully human, and therefore you couldn't enslave them.
Yep,
right?
Compromise.
Correct.
Exactly.
And so,
and abortion people say this a lot about babies in the womb. Because of the location, just because the baby's not outside breathing oxygen, but the baby's inside the woman's body, they believe that the woman should be able to dictate whatever the hell they want to do with that. It's her body, it's not her body, right? Just like a slave's body is not your property, right? And this is why I said that a lot of the arguments that abortion people make, you can make the same, you can make the same case for slavery. Hey, this person's my property. I bought it with my money, my resources. I'm taking care of it. I should be able to do the hell I want with this slave. This slave is my property. Same way abortion people treat the baby in the womb. Because it's in the woman's body and it's living off the woman's body, aka resources, I'm allowed to dictate whatever hell I want to do with this baby. If I want to keep it, if I want to yeet it, I yeet it. If the baby's inconvenient for me, I want to kill it. Imagine that. But you guys want to pretend you're so moral. There's no moral case for abortion. You can only make a pragmatic case. Right? Hey, a woman should be allowed to decide whatever she wants to do because the child is her property. Okay, then they open another can of worms. If the baby's only, if the decision of whether the baby gets to live or die is not the sole discretion of a woman, why are you holding men responsible for the decision of another human being? Because at the end of the day, that woman's choice is affecting someone else. Right? Right? Let's be consistent here. And this is why they always try to go with you're just trying to control women, aka move the goalpost. Because they don't want to have the real conversation of what we're actually talking about. Because they can't really confront the reality of abortion. They can't really confront the biological realities of what they're actually advocating for. You're advocating that, hey, a baby is a woman's property, and you believe that she should be able to kill or whether it gets to decide whether that baby gets to live or die. That baby's right is determined by the mother. That's what you want. That's the argument you're trying to have. And there's a lot of things, there's a lot of can of worms you can open up with that. I'm just saying, just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? There's a lot of ethical questions that come out of that. And the pro-abortion people, they can't argue that. At least not from a moral perspective. That's my case. Let me hear yours in the comment section.
So was that a subjective question? That was not a subjective question. Black people are fully human and just as human as white people, equal, the same, right? Like and so if somebody were to say, listen, I personally am anti-slavery. Right? I think that slavery is personally wrong, but it's really up to every person to define for themselves whether a black person is fully a human or not fully a human. Be like, what?
I don't think you can compare.
What?
You can't compare it. Don't play this game with us, because you're dehumanizing a human at the end of the day. When you get pregnant, when a woman gets pregnant, what she gets pregnant by? Is it going to be a tiger? Is it going to be a beaver? A lion? A giraffe? What she got pregnant? Oh, a human. Oh, she got pregnant. We already know. We don't even need no scientists. We can accurately guess 100% of the time what the person's going to have. A human. And my argument always goes that life is constant, right? So if it was always a human from conception, doesn't it mean it will be human outside, whether it's in the womb or out the womb, when it would not remain a human? Because it's constant. Your gender is decided by conception. Your genetics, DNA, your entire blueprint from your DNA has everything you need from year 0 all the way to the end of your days. Predetermined already for you in your DNA. Pre-planned. As long as there's nothing, no foreign intervention happens and interrupts that process, you'll make it to whatever age you're supposed to make it genetically. And essentially you're saying, oh, women can play God and gets to decide, oh yeah, let's abort the baby. Make it make sense. And this is the can of worms that they open. Because in my honest opinion, child support, right? Those policies that, certain groups of women like, child support, hold men accountable, men need to take care of their kids. That's a pro-life policy. And if you're a pro-abortion person, you should not be arguing for child support. We shouldn't be pressuring women to make certain decisions. If you're pro-choice, right? This is why I say you're pro-abortion. You're not pro-choice. And a lot of these pro-abortion people, they like to throw the word pro-choice when they're not really about choice. But I digress. Let's continue.
Those two things.
Why?
Just because I think, if I'm making, so if you're a slave master, right, and you say, I believe slavery is right because black people aren't human, like, that's a decision that you're making that is based on things like, what the slaves can do for you and your property. Like,
Let's break it down. Let's simplify this. You see this phone? I could do whatever the hell I want with this phone. I can break it in half. I could chuck it over a shredder, whatever. I could abuse. No one's going to cry if I snap my phone in half right in front of the camera. But let me get my 2-year-old son and do it. What's going to happen? Everyone's going, oh my God, what are you doing to that baby? Right? We're essentially doing that. Let's master scrap. Let's put the baby like this small, like the size of a peanut. I forget the size of how small babies get. Right? Babies get around this small in your womb. And you're like, oh, we can just kill it. Right? That's essentially abortion. That's why I'm saying that essentially abortion considers a baby in a womb a woman's property. There's no way you can square that. That's slavery. That's just like slavery. You can't square that. You can't run away from that. I thank God every day I listen to black, I forgot her name, but it's a black conservative woman who made this case. Hey, debate me. Any argument you make for abortion, you can make for slavery. Go. And these pro-abortion people kept trying. And she's like, oh yeah, that sounds like this in slavery. Oh, that sounds like this. Oh, this is the same argument you make. Oh, if I can't take care of the kid, how the kid's going to survive? You just make the same case for the slaves. If we release the slaves, how are they going to survive? All they know is how to do what I tell it. It can't survive on its own. It needs us. They need us.
Fit of what slavery will do for that slave master is so different than if a woman has to have a baby because she was raped and how that will affect her life. Like that, I think you have a decision that you can make a lot easier.
It's almost like you force a woman twice, right? Because
yeah,
she
like,
says
do
no,
I become a slave master or not versus do I have a baby or not?
She has this baby and now she's forced to have
Let's
a
try a
child.
Jewish analogy. Go.
Sure. So, I mean, sure. So if there was an entire population in Europe that was considered subhuman by the Nazis and they were exterminated, if you said, I am personally against the extermination of the Jews.
Hey, great, even better analogy. The Jewish people, even better. I don't believe these people should exist. That's essentially what you're saying. When you're saying, oh, I want an abortion, I believe my child shouldn't exist. Why you don't want it? Oh, I can't take care of it. I'm too young. I got to hold my whole life ahead of me. Okay, financial reasons. Okay. And you abort your kid. You kill your kid. Sorry. Saying abort is too gracious. You kill your kid. And guess what? A lot of these people who put down financial reasons as one of the reasons why they abort their child, there's statistics that show that regardless if they had the child or not, they'll still end up where they're supposed to be economically. It's almost like a myth that women tell themselves to justify killing their kid for financial reasons. And that's an elective abortion because majority of abortions, 99% of abortions are purely healthy babies. So this overused analysis or this overused talking point that these pro-abortion people love to say, oh my God, the health and tragedy of the mother. Oh, what if it had Down syndrome? Or what if it had genetic disposition? It's not true for 96% of the cases of women aborting their babies. And I don't even want to talk about the racial angle I can go. I can reverse the argument about disproportional outcomes and say, hey, 40% of abortions are represented by black babies. Is abortion racist? Based on your definition, Lib, anything that disproportionately affects a group of people, you consider racist, systematic racism. Is abortion systematic racism? That's an interesting question you should tell a black lib. How is 30% of the population committing 40% of the abortions? Tells you something. Oh, it sounds like targeting to me. Sounds like racial profiling to me. But I digress.
But I understand why Germans could think that Jews are subhuman. And so, it really is up to every individual to determine whether a Jew is human or not fully human and can be put in the back of a van and gassed. We'd be like, what in the world?
You're saying there should be no pro-choice in regards to that?
Yeah, so the definitions are not a matter of choice. Definitions are a matter of actual objective fact. Otherwise, we can't even have a conversation.
How can you govern? How can you govern if there's no one standard, one definition? And this is one of the reasons why, like, the pro-abortion people, they love their exceptions. They love to make this exception. Oh, what if it's this? Okay, F it. Here, you can have those. But those things only account for less than 1% of all abortions. It's like 0.65 of all abortions. Life of the mother is threatened. She got raped, or is it incest, baby? That's it. And the rest are elective. The woman chose to due to some arbitrary reason she gave. Financial reasons, believing she's too young. She's not financially prepared for the commitment. She doesn't want to be a parent. Let a man say, I don't want to be a parent. What did the court system do? Do they, yes, we shouldn't be forcing you to do anything. Because I'm fundamental. As a conservative, I believe no one should have the right to kill their child. I believe that if you have if a baby's a product of your sexual encounters, y'all both are morally, in my point of view, are required to take care of that baby. Right? That's why we have child support, because we want you to take care of the children of the country. But if you're saying that women can just choose whenever it's convenient for them to have a baby, then why are you forcing a man in a situation where he may not necessarily want to be a father? So you get to choose whether you want to be a mother or not. And regardless of what you choose, you can force a man to be a father if he doesn't want to or not. A man has no right to obscure responsibility from not having, I'm not financially committed I don't have enough finances to take care of a child. Yeah, I don't care. You have the baby anyway and you force child support on him, right? You make the government go after him, right? You make his life hell because of the decision you want, right? And you guys are not even consistent. Feminists brag about how they want equality, and then the bad parts of equality start coming out. Because if you want equality, you have to accept the absolute outcome of equality, both the good and the bad, the pro and the con. You can't just cherry pick what you want and what you don't want. And that's why I see a lot of these pro-abortion people do.
Because if words have meanings, then we all have to agree on at least that, right? That much we have to agree on is the meaning of the words. And when it comes to, sort of the slave master analogy, the point that I'm making here is not about the personal experience of the slave master. In fact, I'm saying it's completely irrelevant. What I'm saying is that the reason that slavery was wrong is because black people are fully independent human beings who require the protection of the law in the same way as everyone else. And if you're a pro-lifer, you believe that's
regardless of the purview, right? And this is what I like, the argument he said. It doesn't matter what the woman thinks the fetus is or isn't. Objectively, it's a human life. It has human DNA. We know it's gonna be. You give it 10 years, is a human child, right? We know what's going to be. There's no randomness to the pregnancy process. Like, we know a lot, and this is one of the things where I laugh at a pro-abortion person when they go, oh, the science on this is inconclusive. What are you talking about? DNA? That's inconclusive? Life beginning at conception? That's inconclusive? Your gender is decided by what? Fertilization? That science is in conclusion? You have a heartbeat at what, 3? As soon as 3 weeks old? Inconclusive? Excuses. That's what it sounds like to me. Because everything, it's just electrical. Oh, it's just electric. That's just electric signals. That's what's hard. That's not a life. It's not conscious. When you go to sleep, you're not conscious. So you got knocked out cold, I can kill you because you're in your sleep? Make it make sense. And these people, this is about power and control, bro. Power and control. I want to be able to decide when it's convenient for me. Allow me to go have sex with random strangers without any worry of consequence, right? This is reality. Just own up to your personal interests. You want to use abortion as birth control. That's what it is. That's it. And argue from that purview. Don't sit here pretending you argue on some great moral crusade. Oh, we're fighting for women's rights. Women's rights to do what? Kill your child? That's the right you want? And then pro-abortion people will get mad when you call it death care. That's death care. Medical care is about trying to preserve life, not end life. That's just execution. That's why I joke around and I don't joke around, but I honestly believe this. Abortion is death care. And you can get as emotional as you want, but there's no ethical reason we should be allowing abortion. But hey, if you want to have it, hey, you believe children are property, sure, you would have been the type of person who would have defended slavery for your own personal gain. But I digress. Let me know your thoughts and perspective in the comment section below. I'd like to hear your thoughts, your opinions. How do you think Ben Shapiro carried himself with that kind of discussion around abortion and women's rights. I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And do you agree with me? Do you believe that abortion isn't about women at all? It's merely about the ethics of when human rights end and another's begin? I'd like to hear your thoughts and perspective in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please share this video if it's so kind. It really does help me out on the algorithm. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.